Young people may have suffered lower rates of illness and death during the coronavirus pandemic, but they are exposed to a separate threat.
It is the young who are likely to bear the brunt of the economic costs, not just now, but for many years to come.
Young people are being disproportionately affected by the current downturn, as they are the most likely to be employed in the lower paid, entry-level jobs, most vulnerable to being lost when firms cut back. They're also more likely to be working in sectors like hospitality, retail, tourism, that have been the hardest hit by the lockdown and continuing social distancing measures.
For example, 16 to 24-year-olds are twice as likely as the rest of the workforce to be in sectors that have been shut down during the pandemic. 2 in every 5 workers in these sectors, compared with 1 in every 5 for every other age group. But it's not just the initial job cuts that will cause a problem. School leavers and graduates will struggle to get their first job due to the lack of entry-level positions being created during the recession.
Surveys of employers suggest that they are seeking around 1/3 fewer entrants on apprenticeship or school leaver programs than originally planned. Internships and placement opportunities are being cut by almost a half, and the number of graduate jobs is also being cut.
We know from previous studies in the UK that a spell of unemployment at the start of a career can have long-lasting, scarring effects.
This is because before hiring someone, employers don't know how productive that worker will be, and they look to signals such as employment history to figure this out.
A spell of unemployment, particularly if it lasts a long time, could be interpreted as a signal that this person has a low productivity and makes it more difficult for them to find a job.
This is particularly a problem for young people starting out, who have no employment experience, and those with low qualifications who can't signal their productivity through their education either.
A spell of unemployment can also have a real negative effect on productivity. When a person isn't working, he or she doesn't have the opportunity to use certain skills, and these can become rusty or deteriorate across time.
The problems are not limited to securing employment in the first place. Taking a job in a low-skilled occupation, especially if the person is overqualified for that role, can also act as a bad signal and cause lower future wages and reduce employment opportunities many years into the future.
And even for those who do find a job at the level that matches their qualifications, wages are likely to be lower because of the increased supply of applicants during a recession. It will also be more difficult for those in employment to gain promotion later on or get a better, higher paying jobs by moving firms. And these effects will impact earnings throughout their career.
Evidence suggests a 3-pronged policy response to tackle the problem. Firstly, provide incentives to young people to remain in full-time education or training so that they gain more skills, become more productive future employees, and are more attractive to employers.
Secondly, the government should offer direct support to young unemployed people through subsidised work placements, assisted job search, and by providing hiring subsidies to employers. This is something we're starting to see with the Kickstart scheme, where employers can offer young people aged 16 to 24, claiming universal credit, a 6-month work placement entirely paid for by the taxpayer.
Thirdly, to reduce youth unemployment and its scarring effects ultimately requires policies to boost aggregate demand in the economy, encouraging spending, creating jobs, and increasing wages.
Young people are already feeling the harsh effects of the pandemic on the economy. Economics research shows us how smart action from government now can reduce the scarring that will otherwise blight the careers of millions of young people for years to come.